Welcome back to Learning English with Captain Binoy Varakil, Assistant Professor, Department of English, St. Joseph College, Devgiri, Kozhikode, Kerala. In fact, we are learning the language and linguistics, and we are today discussing a very important area from linguistics. In fact, we learn cardinal vowels today. And the concept of cardinal vowels has a lot to do with the learning of any languages of the world. Let us understand what we mean by cardinal vowels. In fact, many phoneticians tried a lot to locate the vowel quality in the oral tract, the mouth cavity, and linguistic enquiries to identify the vowel area in the oral tract or the mouth cavity and to fix the place of each of the possible articulators have led to the concept of the cardinal vowels. So, we have to understand the fact that cardinal vowels are fixed vowel areas in the mouth cavity to locate the vowel sounds of the languages of the world. When we think about the history of the concept of the cardinal vowels, we have to remember two great personalities. And the term cardinal vowels was introduced by A.M. Bell, but later the term is associated with Daniel Johns. Daniel Johns just tried to refine and polish the idea of cardinal vowels. And he came forward with the cardinal vowel chart. And now we have to understand the cardinal vowels on the other one side and cardinal vowel chart on the other side. And let us look at the board. So when we look at the board, we can see two charts here. One is, of course, the chart with the cardinal vowels, say the primary cardinal vowels, and the second is the chart with certain numbers. We will come to the second chart after understanding the first chart. So I can just tell you that the first chart is just drawn to understand the cardinal vowels, the primary cardinal vowels, and the second chart is drawn to understand the secondary cardinal vowels. There are in fact a number of 8 primary cardinal vowels and 10 secondary cardinal vowels. That is 8 plus 10, 18 cardinal vowels altogether. So let us understand the cardinal vowels first. So we have the core 8 primary cardinal vowels. Alright, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now we have to understand the very cardinal vowel diagram. So what do we understand from the cardinal vowel diagram? So we have the very first number 1. This is cardinal vowel number 1. So number 1 we have 4, 5 and 8. These are of course the outer points of the cardinal vowel chart. And this particular cardinal vowel chart helps us to understand the most important factors that help us to describe a vowel sound. We understand that the first factor that helps us to understand the vowel sound is of course the part of the tongue that is used to articulate a sound, whether it is the front of the tongue, whether it is the back of the tongue, or whether it is the center of the tongue. That is the place of the tongue required or used to articulate sound. So this part, like we have the diagram here and we are dividing the diagram into three. This is front part, this part is front, this part is back, and this particular area is the center. So all the vowels articulated with the front of the tongue are front cardinal vowels. All the vowels articulated with the back of the tongue, okay, the back of the tongue are back cardinal vowels. So we have front vowels. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 front cardinal vowels. 5, 6, 7, 8. They are 4 again, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? They are the back cardinal vowels, right? And now we have the top of the cardinal vowel chart. Top of the cardinal vowel chart. And we have, of course, the bottom of the cardinal vowel chart. So these two very areas, the bottom and the top, has a lot to do. So vowels produced with tongue extremely bottom in the oral cavity are what are known as open vowels, open cardinal vowels. Like we say the sound ah. When we say the sound ah, the tongue is at the extreme bottom of the oral cavity or the mouth cavity, and we call such sounds open vowels. All right, and sometimes we lift the tongue, and based on the lifting of the tongue, we can say that the tongue can take 4 positions in the oral tract. That is, of course, extreme bottom, open position, slightly above, that is half open position, even above we say that is half closed position, and maximum height, tongue is lifted maximum height to produce certain sounds which are known as closed sounds. So we say based on the height of the tongue lifting or raising, we have of course open vowels, half open vowels, half closed vowels, and closed vowels. So we have 2 factors right now to learn about the cardinal vowels. Vowels produced with the front of the tongue, the back of the tongue, and the center of the tongue. Alright, then we have what is called the, based on the height to which the tongue is lifted, or based on the vowel limit, we say we have open vowels, we have half open vowels, we have half closed vowels, and closed vowels. So we have the 2 important factors to define the vowel sounds. Now the next factor is of course rounding of the lips. Some vowels are articulated with rounding of the lips, some without, no rounding or spread lips. So these are the important factors. So to help us to understand these 3 points, of course we have the cardinal vowel chart, and it was Daniel Johns who came forward with the cardinal vowel chart. Now we are just looking at the cardinal vowel chart and of course understanding the cardinal vowels there. Before that, we have to understand what are cardinal vowels. Alright, so let's know the fact that we have of course vowels in every language. We have vowel sounds in every language, and in English RP, we have of course 20 vowels, to be very precise, 12 pure vowels and 8 diphthongs. So we are discussing of course the pure vowels, right? Locating the pure vowels, and with the help of the cardinal vowel chart and with the help of the cardinal vowels, we can locate the vowels of any language, and we have to understand what are cardinal vowels. Alright, so cardinal vowels are just vowels, or they are just referent points. They are just referent points, fixed referent points. Okay, so the cardinal vowels are fixed, unchanging reference points in the oral cavity. Alright, and with the help of these fixed, unchanging reference points in the oral cavity, we can locate the vowels of any language in the cardinal vowel chart. So these particular cardinal vowels are not real vowels. They are hypothetical, imaginary vowel sounds, right? So if there can be some vowel sounds which can be produced with maximum fronting of the tongue, yeah, that is cardinal vowel number 1. Alright, maximum fronting and maximum closeness. Alright, and no rounding of the lips. Alright, so these let's understand the very important fact that cardinal vowels are just fixed reference points for locating the vowel sounds of the languages of the world. They are not real. They are not real. If there can be a vowel sound which is articulated with maximum frontness, maximum closeness in the oral cavity, yes, that is something like cardinal vowel number 1. Alright, so understand the fact that the cardinal vowels are not real vowels. They are reference points. Alright, the phoneticians, linguists wanted to fix the vowels of the languages of the world, and they came forward with the concept of the cardinal vowel chart, and they fixed, in fact, 8 plus 10, 8 primary cardinal vowels and 12 secondary cardinal vowels, and with the help of these 18 cardinal vowels, we, the learners of the language, can understand the vowels of each and every language. Hence we say that cardinal vowels are fixed reference points to locate the vowel quality or vowel articulation dimension in the mouth cavity. And now we are just going to look at each of the cardinal vowels. Let us understand the primary cardinal vowels right now. Okay, so the primary cardinal vowel number 1 is articulated with maximum fronting of the tongue and maximum vowel height. And next thing is, okay, it is of course an unrounded vowel sound. So cardinal vowel number 1, it is produced with maximum fronting, maximum height, and of course no rounding. No rounding, it is unrounding. Alright, so and we say the sound cardinal vowel number 1 is of course something like, remember, the tongue is fronted maximum and very close to the roof of the mouth, and we utter the sound like E. Alright, and understand the fact that the front of the tongue is very close but no contact. If it is touching the roof of the mouth, it will become a consonant. So cardinal vowel number 1, it is this particular symbol articulated with the front of the tongue, maximum height, that is E. Unrounded lips, right? So 3 things: maximum fronting, maximum closeness, unrounding. Now we are discussing cardinal vowel number 2. Okay, cardinal vowel number 2 is again uttered with the front of the tongue, but not very close. It is half closed position, unrounded, and we say E. E. Cardinal vowel number 2. Cardinal vowel number 3 is again uttered with the front of the tongue, but the vowel limit or height is just half open. Okay, half open and unrounded, and the sound is Alright, now we have cardinal vowel number 4. It is of course articulated with the front of the tongue. Okay, at open position, tongue is not lifted, it is at extremely bottom at the mouth cavity, bottom, lying flat at the mouth cavity, and it is of course unrounded, and we have the sound that is of course the fourth cardinal vowel, like front of the tongue is used and unrounding. Now we look at the fifth cardinal vowel. Fifth cardinal vowel is uttered with the back of the tongue, okay, open position, unrounded, and we say ah. Alright, and now we look at the sixth cardinal vowel. It is articulated with the back of the tongue, half open position, vowel height, half open position, but rounded. Okay, that is what is important. It is rounded lips, right? It is rounded lips, and we say, okay, oh, oh. Alright, now we have cardinal vowel number 7, again articulated with the back of the tongue, half closed position, not very high, and we say the sound ooh, ooh. And now we have the eighth cardinal vowel. It is again articulated with back of the tongue, of course very close position and rounded, and we say ooh. Alright, so these are the primary cardinal vowels. So we have learned 8 primary cardinal vowels. Cardinal vowel number 1, cardinal vowel number 2, cardinal vowel number 3, cardinal vowel number 4, and cardinal vowel number 5, cardinal vowel 6, 7, and 8. So know the fact that the cardinal vowels 1 to 5 are articulated with unrounded lip position, and 6, 7, and 8 are articulated with rounded lip position. Okay, so we stop this particular lecture right now here, and now we move on to, of course, another lecture. In that lecture we'll be discussing the secondary cardinal vowels, but these 2 lectures are part of the same lecture on cardinal vowels. Thank you very much for listening. May God bless you.